Hey friends, welcome back to Find Yourself in a Character, my weekly video series that takes us on a weekly exploration of some of my favorite characters and their journeys. I'm Jenny D, author, consultant, and international promoter of love and triumph. In this week's episode, I'll be talking about The Light Through the Leaves. Now, this story is one of second chances and redemptions. It's sweet, it's heartbreaking, it goes through a lot of different emotions. Now, there's a series of main characters. It's not just one. It goes back and forth between Ellis, this mother, and then Raven / Viola, this child. So you see it unfold as it begins with an abduction. Viola, not sure how to say it. She's abducted, and it sends Ellis into this whirlwind of grief that's already compounded by the fact that she's found her husband cheating on her. And all of this shit hits the fan at once in her life. And she's got this cheating husband and an overbearing mother-in-law. And in her grief, she's just sinking deeper, and they're pushing drugs on her to feel better. And so she spirals into this addiction. And she just finds herself feeling so useless that she up and walks away from her entire family. Now, it was kind of extreme, and I didn't really connect on that level, but I can't sit here in judgment of her because I've never been through the trauma of a child being abducted and knowing what that feels like. So I can't pretend to sit here and say, hey, I know what I do in that situation. I'd still stick around for my other kids. I'd still believe that they need me and that I wasn't worthless. But if you see all the things that compound it, you can kind of understand her journey and realize that we're all different and we may not react the same way. So it takes us on her journey through the past, what led her up to being who she is today, why that might have been the decision she made, what she did once she made that decision, and how it came full circle back towards the end. And you see her on this path of loneliness, but also self-discovery, which is quite interesting. And then on the other spectrum is the daughter, who is renamed Raven. And she's kind of got like a little bit of a psychopath as a mom. She's a little nutso. As an abducted mom, she kidnapped her. And she was told since birth that she is half human and half spirit, half Raven spirit, that her dad was like a bird, or the spirit of a bird, rather. And I could buy into that for a little bit because, you know, she's young, naive, and we're all nature nurture. We grow up to believe our parents and whatever they teach us. But where I struggled a little bit with her character is when she did start going to school. Don't you think she would have been included a little bit more than she was? So I kind of, Raven had me questioning a lot. Like, I didn't know the plausibility and all that, but she was really sweet. She was really innocent. She was really kind. And she had a way of creating these strong bonds with people. So that by the end, not to give a spoiler away, but when, you know, obviously people are going to come back together. And it was really tender to see the natural sibling bonds that formed. And it was endearing because it was like the childhood bonds she formed. So she was very good at connecting to other people. And it was a beautiful thing about her. So although I did struggle with both Ellis as a mother abandoning her kids and Raven living in this la la land of non-reality, I just thought the story in general was sweet. It was about second chances, like I said earlier, about how life can all fall back into place the way it's meant to be. The only other thing I'll say that, you know, and I don't mean to be negative at all because it was a sweet book and I liked it, but it just wrapped up too quickly for me at the end. It just was too forgiving and too, oh, okay. I mean, in my opinion, there should have been a little more therapy going into this abducted daughter who thinks she's half bird, and a little bit more, I don't know, resentment towards the mom who left. I mean, not that I wish that on people, but I just think it could have been a little bit of a richer story, like an extra chapter or two right before the end where they dealt with really those heavy emotions that come along with it. I mean, we dealt with it beautifully in the beginning with the grief. And then it kind of just, it was missing that for me personally. I mean, other people may have a different opinion, but that little piece was missing. But all in all, it was wrapped up really nicely. I love the bonds that were created, and the romance that was peppered in throughout it and all of it. So it took you on an emotional roller coaster. You felt all the feels. And so it was an interesting read, at least. So to check that out, that's The Light Through the Leaves. I'm Jenny D. I am an author, and you can find me at www.jennydauthor.com. Thanks for tuning in this week, and I will see you next week on Find Yourself in a Character.